welcome to episode 13 of Back of a Length. I'm here, as usual, with Renee.
Hello. Super cheery.
I know.
Hello.
I've had a beer. It's great. Should have a beer before every episode. It's fantastic.
You know, we did start that back in the day. We were having a beer or two, and then we were like, oh, it's a Tuesday. Maybe we shouldn't do that. But yeah, maybe we will get back into that.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. It just helps the day go by. You know, nothing wrong with waking up with a hang. What?
When did you have your first beer?
About 2 minutes ago.
Oh, okay. I thought when you said it helps the day go by, I'm like, are you cracking 9 a.m. beers again?
Well, it's after it's that kind of period of time at the moment with work where I'm thinking, do you know what, that wouldn't be a bad idea. But I digress on being an alcoholic for now. We have possibly a shorter episode for you this week. There's been a few bits and bobs going on in the cricket world, which we'll look to cover for you as best we can. And we also have the White Ferns squad has been announced this week for the India ODI series. So we'll have that for you as well. And we also have a Throwback Tuesday, which I know is going against the grain because it's normally Throwback Thursday, but we record on a Tuesday for our Wednesday episode. And Renee's got a throwback this week for a particular highlight that she will look to go through. So we'll get straight into it with the sweep.
It's time for the weekly sweep. I will work on some sweep puns next week, but for now we will sweep over that and sweep straight to the sweep. Sweep. India winning the Under-19 World Cup. Congratulations to India.
Jesus Christ. So many sweeps.
Are you just catching up with the sweeps now? Like, were you that stunned that I put that many sweeps in?
My brain just shut down for a second trying to figure out where in the sentence you're up to. Just sweepity sweep of a sweep.
Sweep. Okay, just to repeat that, India won the Under-19 World Cup, beating England in the final. We won't say that England did terribly, because good on England for making a final.
Yeah, it's nice to see one of our teams actually doing something. So props to the Under-19 men, a few strong performances throughout that tournament. And yeah, it looks like the future is bright for English cricket.
Not so bright for English cricket as the Women's Ashes series.
Yep, moving on. The Australian women's team are just the best in the world at the moment by, I'd say, quite a long distance in all formats as well, it seems. England don't have a bad team. They've just been outplayed by a superior team. Congratulations to Australia for holding both sets of Ashes, I guess.
Yeah, congratulations to Australia. I think the only thing I'd point out is the England women were clean swept in their ODI series, losing 3-0, also posting not very competitive totals. We are going into an ODI World Cup, so will be interesting to see how England go.
Yeah, good on the English women. They're not bothered about they are bothered about the Ashes, but they're saving up all of their big performances for the World Cup, as they are the reigning champions. So I can't. Have New Zealand women ever won the Cricket World Cup before?
I don't believe so. Men's
or women's? Yeah, no. So let's just keep it with the experts here for who supports a team who currently holds the Men's Cricket World Cup and the Women's Cricket World Cup.
Okay. But don't forget, that's just
arsey, sorry.
So it really did, and that's only in the ODIs, because I think New Zealand holds the Test Championship and Australia holds the T20 World Cup at the moment.
Does.
Anyway,
very correct.
Moving to more local stuff. So Super Smash obviously wrapped up last week, but there's plenty of domestic action going on, so we thought it'd be fun each week to bring you a weekly highlight from each of those. So the weekly Ford Trophy highlight, that's the one-day series here in New Zealand. Adam Milne, aka my love. That's a great whistle.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm proud of that one. Yeah.
He brought up an 18-ball 50 over the weekend to help the Central Stags win by 200 runs. They posted 314, the Volts all out for 114.
All-rounder.
All-rounder back in the team.
All-rounder, Mel. Woo! Get yourself in there, boy.
All around me.
Oh, well, Jesus. This is not an R18 rated show. We have to declare that when we upload the podcast, whether it is R18 or not. And I'm not sure what I'm going to have to say this week. Christ alive. Quickly skipping over that. Wellington, Canterbury and Otago Central Districts both postponed at the weekend, unfortunately, due to the weather that we had all across Aotearoa this week,
Yes,
which was abysmal.
Speaking of wet weather, Plunkett Shield was going on over the weekend as well. Auckland, in their first game of the season against Northern Districts, were having a bit of weather delay, rain delay, light delay. They came down to need one run and one run to win. The umpires called it off, said bad light. So Jamieson and Chapman sat down and refused to leave the field. Eventually the umpires saying, all right, we can continue, and they hit the one run to win the game.
It reminds me of the 2015 World Cup. If you remember when England played New Zealand at Wellington, and England was skittled for 129, I think. And New Zealand, so they got bowled out in like 30 overs, and New Zealand, after like 15 overs, were about 120 for none. And they needed 10 runs to win, and the umpires called them off because it was the allotted break. You're just thinking one more over of Stephen Finn, who was going at 30 and over, would have seen the game through. But now the umpires called them off to a chorus of boos, so we had to wait 45 minutes for the inevitable players came back on. It was over in 2 overs. You're just thinking, what's the point? Like, common sense has to prevail sometimes.
More importantly, how many beers did you sink in those 45 minutes?
Enough to get me through what was a dark day. I will also just point out that was the first time I've been to Wellington. I put this on Twitter the other day. It was the first time I've been to Wellington, and it was the last time I went to Wellington because I do not want to go back. I had a terrible few days, all because of the cricket.
And I keep reminding him, just constantly.
You do keep reminding me. It got so bad that I was arguing with English fans. Because there was nothing else to do, and they were all singing songs and stuff, and I was like, stop singing, stop supporting them, this is awful. And I'm a terrible fan. But yeah, Auckland won that game, and they took the points in their first Plunkett Shield game, so lots of positives against what was a pretty strong Northern Districts team.
Correct. Meanwhile, Chris Silverwood has been sacked as the English coach. Woo! Not surprising.
Yep. Should have been sacked halfway through, but you're obviously not going to sack a coach halfway through a tour overseas. He's been sacked. Ashley Giles has stepped down as the sort of team manager / don't actually know what it is, a director of cricket role, I think it is, at ECB. Wholesale changes there for England at a management level. Justin Langer has also resigned as Australian coach / being pushed out the door by Australian cricket, which I think is a joke, personally.
Well, he won the Ashes. An absolute surprise. Australian cricket board, not our favourite people.
No, he came in after Sandpapergate, when they'd lost David Warner, who was their most prolific opening batsman, and Steve Smith, who was the best batsman in the world, took a team that was low on confidence, changed the culture of their team, and went through a difficult 2-year period and produced what is now the number 1 test team in the world, the number 1 T20 team in the world, because they've just won the T20 World Cup. And their thanks from Australian cricket was that he could extend his contract until October, until the end of the T20 World Cup. I just don't get it.
No, we don't know what is going on really there. It's all sort of come out in the last few days. Rumour on the street he might head over to England.
Yeah, he's being considered as the replacement for Chris Silverwood, which I don't think would be a bad thing, but I would prefer at this stage to see somebody else come through. I would rather it be someone like Jason Gillespie, who may actually go on to be Australian coach, or Gary Kirsten. Just with Justin Langer having just won the Ashes for Australia, beating the English team, I just think it might be a little bit too early for him to leave the Australian role to go straight into the English role. I also don't know Justin Langer with his morals, whether he'd be willing to do that either.
Of course, we will see both those teams in tests and I believe ODIs quite soon. So it's quite a fast turnaround whether they take a brand new coach or sort of a fill-in coach for the rest of the season.
That Paul Collingwood has been nominated as coach for the England tour of the West Indies. So they are looking to take their time, which I think is right, because I think the last 3 coaches that we've had have been Trevor Bayliss was good for the one-day cricket in England, but that was to the detriment of Test cricket, which is now what we're seeing, unfortunately, is we are one of the worst Test teams in the Test arena, and we need to get a coach that can actually manage all three facets of the game concurrently.
Yeah, definitely.
Take the time, get the right person in, get back to number one, smash everybody, Mark will be happy. Happy days. It's so easy when you think about it. When you say it out loud, it's so easy.
Yeah, why can't they just do that right now?
Yeah, I don't know. Get me on the phone. Tell you, I'll sort them out. But anyway, yeah, that is the sweep for this week. We will obviously keep you updated with the coaches' positions for Australia and for England, and we will bring you more Ford Trophy highlights and Plunket Shield highlights over the coming episodes.
Right, this weekend the White Ferns will take on India in the T20 and ODI series. We've got the squad in front of us, so let's have a quick run through and see who we'll be seeing on the field for the White Ferns. We have, of course, Susie Bates. Woo!
Woo! In the form of their life.
In the form of her life. Sophie Devine will captain the team, of course. We then have Lauren Down, Maddie Green, Brooke Halliday, Hayley Jensen, Fran Jonas, Millie Kerr, Jess Kerr, Frankie Mackay, woo, back in the squad, love seeing that, Rosemary Mayer, Katie Martin as the wicket-keeper, Hannah Rowe, Amy Satherwaite will vice-captain, and Leah Tahuhu making up the final position. Alright, before we crack into who's there, we're going to talk about who's not there, because where is Lee Kasprick?
Yeah, big debate on Twitter this week about her exclusion from the squad is probably the best word to use. She, as you will recall from last week's episode, she topped the Super Smash wicket taken figures for both men and women. She took 20 across the competition, helping the Blaze to a tournament win. You have to question why she's not there. The only thing I can think of is that they are maybe giving her a bit of a rest before the Women's World Cup. But why would you not play her?
Potentially, yeah. I wouldn't. I think I would prefer to see her in the squad, and even if you're like, okay, she needs a rest, you'd sit out the last one, couple of games.
Play a T20, play an ODI, miss a couple.
If I was her, and we haven't read anywhere that she is injured or away for personal reasons, so it just sounds like she's not there. So the tournament will be a one-off T20 on the 9th of February, followed by 5 ODIs. So you can't rest you're not resting for 6 games. If you're like, oh, you need a rest, you're playing 2 or 3 at the start and then having a week off before going into the World Cup. Remembering the World Cup is still a week or 2 after the final game that they play.
Yeah.
So, it is an omission from the squad based on talent and form, which doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah, talent is obviously there because she had the form out of the Super Smash. So, interesting omission there, unfortunately. All those games are to be played in Queenstown. Bit of a side note, how great would it to be in Queenstown at the moment? They've got all of the Super Rugby games. They've got all of the NRL teams are supposedly relocating from Australia. And they've got all of the women's cricket at the moment. Like, Queenstown is alive. It's a place to be.
Of course, you still have red restrictions, so you can't exactly rock up. But you could just be milling about at the cafes and restaurants and walking past the grounds. Yeah.
Great for
if
the
you're
hospitality.
Like me, you could have your binoculars out if you're anything like me, spying on the games.
Which, no disrespect, but not many people are. Not many people are like you. You are one of a kind.
Thank you.
What are you expecting to see from this series? Who do you think will stand up for the White Ferns? Who's going to make a name? Who's going to make themselves undroppable for the first World Cup game?
Yeah, well, I think you've sort of nailed it there. Who's going to make themselves undroppable? So obviously we know that the stale, the mainstays of the competition will be there. So you're obviously expecting performances out of Sophie Devine, Amy Satherwaite and Susie Bates. Of course, Susie Bates down south where she bloody loves it as well. I think probably both the Kerr sisters will stand up because they just love playing cricket. I think it would be interesting to see how the likes of Rosemary Mayer and Hannah Rogo. They've been in this team for a long time, but they did not have the best Super Smash campaign. Both those women playing for the Central Stags didn't really stand out to me. So that would be sort of my ones to watch. And then after
Frankie
that, you sort of got Frankie Mackay will kill it.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, Katie Martin, you would expect will be the keeper through the whole series and into the World Cup as well. So I'd say probably 70-80% of that squad picks itself. So there's probably only 2, maybe 3 places up for grabs. So it'll be interesting to see who can take those final positions.
Yeah, I think Leah Tahuhu's on a bit of a comeback. I mean, she's had some really great games in recent form, but I'm just wondering how they'll go just playing at the same venue 6 times. Whether that will make them chop and change the squad, whether they're going to play on the same pitch, whether
that's what I was just about to say. It'd be interesting to see how the pitches go throughout that series, especially with 5 ODIs. Queenstown isn't the biggest of grounds, it doesn't have the biggest square, so there will be a couple of pitches there that will be reused, if not twice, maybe 3 times. It'd be interesting to see how the team makeup is altered to suit the pitch conditions as that little ODI series goes on. As we say, the series starts at the weekend. We will have the first couple of results, I believe, for next week's episode. That'll be interesting to see how the girls go.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting. I mean, India women are probably the best team after Australia. So I do expect some very strong performances out of them. Unfortunately, I'm not 100% clued up on Indian women's cricket at the moment, just looking at this team name.
There's a couple of standouts. They've got Smriti Mandana, who I think is the captain, and Harmanpreet Kaur, who
the all-rounder.
Yeah, she is really, really good player as well. So good fielder, good bowler, and a good batsman. So they've got some really good players. But I guess this is what we're excited about, is to have women's cricket over here and have the international teams over here, starting with India and then obviously going into the Women's World Cup to see, who does stand up, because women's cricket has got a big focus in world cricket at the moment. There's a lot more of the franchise T20 competitions running concurrently with the men's competitions, so it's good to get some more household names through onto our TV screens so that we can enjoy that as much as we do the men's.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So really looking forward to the series, so we'll bring you all the highlights of that next week. We're not going to make too many predictions because we're not super good at predictions. We suck at predictions.
We suck.
We do. Lordy. But yes, we'll see how the women go ahead of the World Cup, and all that action next week. All right, Mark. Obviously, we are starved of men's international cricket this week. So I had a Facebook memory pop up, and I want to share it with everybody. Let's go back to February 2016. This was to set the scene. We weren't friends, sadly.
We weren't at that stage, were we? No.
No, I actually believe you were at this game that I'm going to talk about. But we weren't friends.
Sad times.
It was sad times. I had not found my cricket crew yet, so I went to this game by myself. Now, which is fine. Side note, it's perfectly fine to go to cricket games by yourself.
Sometimes it's more enjoyable.
Yeah, it actually is, as you will see. But the thing is, Mark, that day my phone broke, so I couldn't even tweet or message anyone. So I sat at the cricket by myself with a lot of thoughts, and then I got home and I got on my computer and I wrote this speech, this memory of this paragraph of the cricket.
Just going to point out that I don't know if regular listeners will probably be as nervous as I am at the moment when Renee says that her phone broke and she sat at home surrounded by her thoughts. You're thinking, what diarrhea is going to come out now? That about sums it up. All right, are you ready? Here we go. This is my thoughts after the 2016 New Zealand versus Australia ODI at Eden Park. On my way to the cricket, I'm always mad at the Australians and so nervous about this game. I love the Black Caps. Okay, we're batting first. I hope McCullum smashes some. There he goes. 6-4, 6-4. Oh my God, Guptill put that on the roof. We're smashing it. Oh, McCullum got out. Oh,
F word. Kane's gone for 0. Come on, Nichols. The crowd is already yelling out, Warner's a wanker. That didn't take long. Lots of runs now. This is good. Maxwell is standing in front of us and waving at the crowd. What a little shh. OMG, that was a great 6 from Nichols. Oh, we lost a wicket. Corey Anderson. Oh, he got out. I kind of miss my brother being here with me, but the man next to me is quite nice. Run rate is slowing down, but we got 307. That's good. Time to get some beersies because I'm super nervous about the next innings. Beersies now in hand. Clutching my flag because I'm so nervous, but I bet Matt Henry will get 4 wickets. He got a wicket. No, he got 2 wickets, and now Bolt has a wicket. This is incredible. I'm screaming, OMG, now it's 4 wickets down, and wow, that was an incredible catch from Kane Williamson. This is incredible. Nichols is in front of us now. I wonder what his deal is. I wonder if Corey Anderson is single. Side note, he wasn't. I have mixed feelings about Mitchell Santner, but I want to see him bowl. Why isn't Matt Henry in the T20 World Cup team? Australia are getting a few runs now. Oh, the nice guy next to me is giving me brownies. How now? How nice.
I wonder what type of brownies they were for you to have gone home and written this speech. They would have had a little green herb in them, I reckon.
That's possible. Okay. Chewing my flag now because I'm still so nervous. Oh, that was great from Milne. That's my love, Adam Milne. 2 wickets to go now. Did someone just throw a sausage at Nichols? Here's Santner, I wonder. He got a wicket. No, 2 wickets. It's all over and we smashed Australia. Let's go to the pub. Oh no, the pubs are too busy. Let's go home.
Be interesting to see you do an audiobook because that was rattled through very quickly. That was good.
Oh, that was.
That was the design.
Like, my
that was
brain.
the design.
Yeah, that was just a brain dump. So just to clarify, Corey Anderson not single, Adam Milne, my love, not single, and Henry Nichols did eat part of a sausage.
Good on him. And you choose your flag because of the green herb that was in that brownie.
No, there was.
You got the munchies.
There was some coriander.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, just looking through the scorecard, incredible start by New Zealand. Fall of wickets for Australia, 10 for 1, 33 for 2, 39 for 3, 40 for 4, 40 for 5, 41 for 6.
You see why I was excited?
8.6 overs, that would have been incredible. I don't think I was at that game. I don't remember being there.
Well, you missed out.
Yeah, I did miss out, clearly. I've missed out on many cricketing occasion in New Zealand. But I did make the 2015 World Cup semi-final, so, I think I made the best. Again, we weren't friends at that point. I went with
we weren't friends.
Mutual friends, PJ, and... Oh, no, Hannah wasn't there. I think I just went with PJ.
Maybe next week you could bring your throwback highlight of the 2015
I think I'm going to bring the highlights of the 2019 World Cup game at Old Trafford that we attended.
Next we will next we will do the first no, that's not happening. Up next we will do the first 11 of the week. Also, if you have any other highlights you want to hear about, maybe I can whip up a few more. I quite enjoy it. Quite enjoy doing that. But next, first 11 of the week.
As usual, we finish off with our 11 of the week courtesy of Renee, and once again, very excited to hear what 11 we have this week. Renee, take it away. Oh, that rhymes.
Well, Mark, so good at rhyming. This week, Mark, we did talk earlier about the coaching situation for a couple of our international teams, so I thought I would look at our first 11 of players that went on to become coaches. Now, nice. I want to put a disclaimer. I made this first 11, I believe, with you, our friend Brendan, and our friend Mike, who all just basically yelled names at me. So this may not be a reflection of the best players or the best coaches, but never mind. We will just soldier on and maybe swap out a few suggestions at the end. So, opening the batting at 1, of course, Justin Langham. At 2, David Lloyd. At 3, Ricky Bonding. And at 4, Stephen Fleming. At 5, Eunice Khan. And at 6, Darren Lehman. And at 7, the great Brendan McCullum. And at 8, Daniel Vittori. At 9, Waka Eunice. At 10, Alan Donald. And 11 is Shane Bond.
I like that 11.
It's good, isn't it?
It is. A lot of those players are sort of recently retired, which just goes to show the strength in coaching depth at the moment. You look at Stephen Fleming, who has captained, I believe he was a Royal Challengers Bangalore not captain, coach for the IPL. Ricky Ponting doing the Delhi Capitals. So many good players. Brendan McCullum was the KKR, I think.
Correct. That is seems to be where you go. You sort of take a bit of time off cricket and then head over to a coaching role, particularly with the IPL. But that does remind me of something I've read during the week, Mark. BJ Watling has completed his coaching course and is now coaching the Northern Districts side.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I should say the Northern Districts A side, not the top side.
Not the
not the mega side.
Good to see that he's staying in cricket. I reckon he's got a really good cricketing brain, so I think he'll be good going forward, and possibly might see him at some point in the IPL. He may well join either Brendan McCullum's coaching staff or Stephen Fleming's coaching staff, because they generally tend to kind of try and keep the Kiwis together. But a really good 11 of coaches and a lot of younger coaches there. So the game bodes well for the coaches that are available. Hopefully England can choose the right one. Australia can choose the wrong one. Fingers crossed.
Which one do you want from that list for England?
That is a good question. I personally would like Ricky Ponting.
You might be dreaming.
I know. Do you know what? I just think he would be a really good coach for our test team. That's where he made his name. He was test captain of Australia for years, one of the leading all-time run scorers. He's done wonders for the Delhi Capitals. I know it's an IPL team, which is just 2020, but he was always somebody who would have the right field placings, would choose the right bowlers at the right time, wouldn't be afraid of dropping batsmen if they were out of form. So I think we need somebody who does have a relatively ruthless streak. But also listening to him in commentary, I just think he comes across as somebody who knows their cricket. You have other coaches, Shane Warne, I think, has been a coach at some point, and you just think, do you really want somebody like that as a coach? Where you look at Ricky Ponting and the way he talks about the game, and I would fully support Ricky Ponting as coach of England.
Well, if that prediction ever comes true, you will be on top of the world, because that's a great prediction. We'll see. We'll wait and see.
With my track record of predictions, it's not going to happen. So we can dream, and we have to, because England are pretty awful. So all we can do is dream about what could be, as opposed to what currently is.
Well said.
Is our episode done, I believe, for this week. Pretty short one. Thank you for listening. Next week we have got the preview of the Black Caps versus South Africa Test Series. We have the IPL Mega Auction, which will be good. We will bring you the highest bids, basically the highest players, and players that we're excited to look out for, and a very special Valentine's Day episode as well. So I probably won't get a word in edgeways, because Renee will talk about all of her cricketing bows. Adam Milne, Michael Rippon, Corey Anderson, to name but a few.
We will do a very special Valentine's episode, so watch out on Twitter. We'll try get some of your opinions in there if you want to jump on board your cricketing loves. We're on Twitter at Back of a Length with an underscore, on Instagram at Back of a Length, and find us on Facebook, Back of a Length Podcast.
Little caveat to the Valentine's Day episode as well. For your contributions as listeners, it doesn't necessarily have to be who you think is the best looking. We also want to know what made you fall in love with cricket.
And you can't just say what I said on the very first episode, which was Tim Southey.
You can say that, but you got to try and make it as good a story as you going camping with Tim Southey and all of that malarkey that came with it.
That was episode 2. If you want to check out our cricket dreams and haircut themes, covering both Tim Southey and Michael Rippon. But we will leave you there before I go on a tangent about pretty boys. Thank you as always for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Bye.